Hey folks, JD and Max here, and today we are back in the beautiful St Mary's Church in Chepstow. Well, it's technically in Monmouth, isn't it? In Tintern.
In Tintern.
You know. So, this is our EMF reader. We are back here. I'll let Max recap a little while after this intro about the ghosts and everything that are meant to be haunting this little place here. We are back for a little paranormal evening. So, currently, it is 30 degrees Celsius. And we are standing in the ruins of what was St Mary's Church. We've got the EMF reader set up here, and in the other room, in the old fireplace, we have, on top of the old fireplace on the hearth, we have our static cam and EVP set up to record any sounds. We've also, today, brought with us our little temperature gauge so that we can see if there's any cold spots or anything that might represent something that's with us, if you won't believe that. So, the EMF pod is just sat right there. I've put it in where the pews would be. This is where the congregation would sit, and the cameras currently are sat up on top of what would have been the altar. I think with that, let's get going.
Hey folks, so Max here again, and I'm going to give you a quick recap about this beautiful church that we're in, St Mary's. Now, it was a site, obviously the rain starting, this was the site of some form of worship from about the 5th century. We're currently above the hill looking over into Pendulum, which is beautiful. This church, as it was known, was built in the 1800s, late 1800s, and closed in the 1970s. Just because the parish was too small. It was lumped in with the other church, which was just at the bottom of Tintern. The church itself, there was a fire in the 70s, a few years after it closed, and at least 3 boys died in that fire, or I should say at most 3 boys died in that fire. They were here camping, and we spoke about that on the last video. And some people think that that's why this church is particularly spooky. I don't feel that in here. I feel as though those spirits have certainly moved on. But every time we come here, we always get something strange. So fingers crossed, we get a bit more of it today. We've got the EMF reader, the EVP recorder, a couple of static cams around, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Wish us luck.
So, as you can see behind, this is the infrared camera set on top of a plinth there. And I'm going to walk close to the EMF. So I'm going to set it off. You're going to hear it in a minute. That's me. Oh, and it's coming to rain. Beautifully atmospheric. So just for you to get your bearings, this is the front door. The camera is right ahead of me. I'm standing, oh, this is beautiful. I'm standing right behind, or right in front of one of the old windows. Absolutely stunning place to be. And I'm currently standing where the congregation would have sat with the pews. So here you are looking at where the altar would be and where the infrared camera currently is. Now, I can't record infrared currently because it's too light and it's wiping out all of the video completely. So maybe we'll have a little use for it in the crypt / basement / underneath area a little bit later. Again, I'm going to trip off the EMF as I walk past it. So I've put it in the congregation, just in case there are some spirits, some entities, some energy that's floating around. And I think of all the places that there might be some in the congregation. So in a moment, I'm going to attach this camera back onto the main camera rig, and we are going to go around and see if we can hold a little vigil and see if we hear anything. Now, we're going to break from convention a little bit with this. We're going to call out, we are going to ask. But for once, I think, rather than us calling out and expecting an answer, let's just wait and see if we get anything. Now, I know that could make for quite a boring video, so we are going to splice it with a little bit of us asking as well. But rather than us just constantly asking all the time, we're going to see whether or not we get something if we just sit here and be very, very quiet. Also, a little bit later on, we're going to bring out the spirit box, and we're going to go through that as well. Currently, we have the spirit box app. As you would know from previous videos, I'm not 100% convinced with the apps. simply because any developer can put anything he wants to, or she wants to, or they want to, into an app and have it to trigger whenever. So, you know, I'm not so convinced with those. But still, in saying that, if we get something which we know is true to this area, it could be quite fun. Right then, I'm going to attach this back to the camera rig, and then we're going to go for a little walk around the church and see if we can see, or see if we can hear anything. Right, so let's pop on the temperature gauge. I'd be surprised if this says anything other than bloody warm. Temperature 25 degrees Celsius, humidity 64, and of course the top there is just a CO2 monitor. We haven't got anything to worry about here because we are completely in the open. So with that, we've still got our EMF meter on the floor there. I am going to put this down here, and then I'm going to see whether or not if we call out we get anything on the EMF. I'm going to put myself in front of the EMF as well. Oh, that's me. If there are any spirits here at all that want to come and talk to us, communicate, any of past congregation members that remember this church in its beauty, in its heyday, if you would like to come down and talk to us, please, we would be very receptive of that. In order for us to be able to know that you are here, could you touch this little pod in front of us, please? When you touch it, it'll light up with some colours and make a little sound like this. That just lets us know that you were here, and then we can start a conversation.
This is something I spoke about in one of the other videos I kept wishing I had. It is my trusty pendulum. Now, pendulums have been used for years for divination, for different, different sorts of fortune telling, spiritual communication, all those sort of things. And we just hold it gently, and you can see my hands. I'm going to put my hand quite close to the camera here. I'm not making any conscious movements. It's just starting to pick up. So when we deal with the pendulum, or anything other similar things like dowsing rods, things like that, we want to start by asking it for a simple yes and a simple no. So I'll go, show me a yes, and you can see we're just going back and forth. There's a fly on me, so I'm going to kick that off, so that will just make that go a little bit more. Okay, show me a yes. So it's just moving back and forth. Can we get a stronger yes, just for clarification? There we go, so sort of back and forth manner, and a slight anti-clockwise turn. Is this a yes? Got that anti-clockwise turn. So now we'll shake it off, we'll hold it again. See, I've just got my thumb on the back here. We can also do it like this, and we'll just show you this way as well. Again, I'm not making any conscious movements here, and now we'll go show me a no, and it's just going in a little circle. Show me a no. There we go, it's just starting now. Show me a no. There we go, and we're going clockwise. Clockwise for no. We're just picking up there again. So, we've got our standard yes and no. There's lots of different beliefs in how pendulums work. Most skeptics believe that it was just the micro movements going on in your hand and your finger that, you know, make you think yes, it's a yes, that's me moving it consciously, and no, it's a no, doing it again. See, when I'm doing that, the movement's coming more from my elbow than it is from my wrist and my fingers, so we'll keep an eye out for that. And some people believe what makes the pendulum sway is the crystal at the bottom, the electromagnetics of the earth, those sort of things. Or my kind of middle way ground with these things is that the pendulum is picking up on my micro movements. That's just things that happen, but is there something else influencing that, influencing the way the muscles of my hand are making this move? And again, with divination and things, we never quite know. There's lots of different schools of thought in it. That's my thought on it in particular. So again, we will just hold this here. Again, I like holding it like this, so it's just draped over my first two fingers here. And we go. Are there any spirits here with us? Very slight, anti-clockwise. Just asking again, are there any spirits here with us today in St Mary's Church? See, we've got a big yes. Thank you. There we go. Now it's still, now we've said thank you, we've finished asking that question. Are the spirits in this church, are any spirits in this church, any of the people who died in this location? Yeah, we've got a little tremble going on, which is a bit weird. We've got that back and forth. Are any spirits here? Are there any spirits here who passed away in the fire? Again, that's back and forth. There's a little clockwise motion to it. It's not too sure. So we'll just ask again. Well, I would take that for a no, but I'm just going to ask again. Are there any spirits here of the people who died in the fire in the 1970s? Okay, we've got a clockwise direction, so we've established that's a no. Good. I didn't think they were here anyway, but it's always polite to ask. Are any of the spirits here spirits of the congregation of this church? Again, we've got a yes movement. We're just starting to go anti-clockwise again. So it's somebody who, well, one of the spirits here at least, is part of the church. So we'll just stop that again. Are any of the spirits of the people buried here remaining in this church? There you go, that's a back and forth, just edging into a, here we go, yeah, that's an anti-clockwise direction. Not a very big one, so again, my thoughts about graveyards and things like that is that they're a place of rest. I wouldn't be comfortable doing any of this setup, any of this paranormal things in a graveyard, because I think that can be quite disrespectful. But again, this church and this land has got so much history. I think it's it's something that's, I'm happy, comfortable to do it here. Wouldn't necessarily be happy to go off into the graveyard and go over all the graves, going, who's here, who's with us? I just, again, coming from the funeral industry, I just feel like they're places of rest and they need to be respected like that. And again, I don't often feel that people stay where they're buried. I can't see any reason for that, really. But again, we've got some energy here from the people who are buried here. That's again what I would expect, but because it wasn't a massive swing either way, I'm happy that that's kind of almost like a background energy here. So we'll ask again. Are you a spirit associated with the running of this church? And we're just back and forth. Were you a priest here?
I twisted the camera and twisted the SLS. The SLS is now looking out.
There we go, that is a
and then this is how it's going to stay.
anti-clockwise for a yes. And again, while I'm asking these questions, we've got the EVP recorder just behind this camera here. Again, you can probably see me on the static camera that's just behind here as well. So, okay, you were a spirit associated with the running of this church. Do you reside here full time in your passing? Oh, that's strange. That's a yes. I would have expected, you know, a spirit to come and go into a place like this. If we're talking about, you know, intelligent sort of spirits. And again, I've spoken about the difference between intelligent spirits and residual spirits, inhuman spirits. That's all in my article on the Hawthorne Files, which hopefully will be linked in the bio. Or in the description below. So here we go. What's our next question going to be to our priestly friend? Are you disappointed at the state that this church is in now? That's quite a solid yes. Would you prefer it to still be a running, functioning church like it used to be? Again, we've got a yes there. We're going in anti-clockwise direction. Now we're just going back and forth again. Did you come to this church to work as a priest? Okay, so that's a yes again. And were you happy in this church when it was up and running and full of people?
So let's give that a try and see.
And again, we've got a yes. It's just going a little bit more of a swing there. So we'll shake that off again. And we thank the spirit for coming and having a chat with us. Again, if there is anything you'd like us to say, you're more than welcome to speak into the recorder we have just up there on the mantelpiece. It's all very safe. It's just something that we hope can record your voice so we can hear what you have to say. And with that, do you have any messages for us? Anything you'd like us to know? Anything you'd like to say to us? We've got quite a big screen now. So again, if you can whisper that message or speak strongly that message into the little recorder on the mantelpiece, and we'll hopefully be able to hear what you have to say. The feeling that I'm getting is that this person was, you know, happy to be in this church, and why wouldn't he? It's a beautiful position, it's a beautiful little village that Tinton is, and on a day like this, 30-degree weather, I am melting. You know, there's just not really a nicer day that you could have, you know, to be in this church. Now, the thing that I'm going to start asking now is, again, I've been here a few times. We've got the woods behind us, all up on that hill, and I've had some very strange experiences in that woods. There we go. Show me a no again, just so we've got that nice and clear. Yeah, that is going clockwise for a no. Just wanted to double check because we've been having lots of yeses. Okay. And again, the feeling that I have is that the energy here is quite an old energy. I think it's here before the church. I think it's part of the land. Particularly up on the hill, I think there's a big sense of calm guardianship, I would say, in these parts, and it can feel, again, I don't think it's an oppressive feel. It is quite heavy, but I don't think that's necessarily a good or bad thing. So when I say, are there any nature spirits here with us today? Any spirits of nature, spirits of the forest, spirits who reside in this church, who have never been human, but have walked the earth with us? And again, we've got quite a big swinging yes. And are you happy that there's a church here? Happy that this site has been a place of worship since the 5th century? And again, it seems like it would all be a question, but I do think it's good to know, these things, because some places are sacred and they need to be kept separate and quiet and different. I suppose a church, for whatever religion, any place of worship is always a place of reflection and connection with, with God, if you're a Christian, with nature, if you're a dirty pagan like me. And again,